We're at the Cereza Passive House, pouring the basement, and we're missing a concrete truck. Want to know what happened? Let's take it away. We're pouring the basement today, and we have 84 yards of concrete going into this pit in the back. And unfortunately, we don't have a concrete truck to deliver concrete. Brett, tell me a little bit about what happened right here.
So they were going along fine. They had it scheduled for every 20 minutes. They'd have a concrete truck come in, they'd dump the concrete. Their cleanup load, on the other hand, they have to call in so they don't buy extra yards of concrete.
So what's a cleanup load?
It's the last load that you get that'll finish off the project.
Okay.
They don't want to send out an 8-yard truck when you only need a yard, because you're going to end up having to pay for that. So they'll wait to this point, and then they'll call the company and say, we need 4 yards. Well, the company wouldn't answer the phone call for 25 minutes. And so they finally answered it. Now we're waiting for that batch to get out here. So it's going to take a little bit longer. So you can see they're working the concrete so we don't have a cold joint. They're doing everything they can so that they're ready for that load.
So tell me a little bit about what you just said, a cold joint. What is a cold joint?
So when the concrete starts to get hard, you can see some of these guys have vibrators with them. They vibrate the concrete and try to keep it liquid, but it won't keep liquid very long in 80-degree heat with sun blazing on it. So if it doesn't, eventually if it doesn't come, they're going to start wetting it down with some water to try to keep it as long as they possibly can.
So what is a cold joint? Physically, what is a cold joint, and why should we care about a cold joint? I mean, I'm guessing that it's when one concrete pour is there and then it waits a while and then we have another concrete pour against it. Why do we care about that?
So one's already hard and you're pouring right up against it. There's a shear there that isn't supposed to be there. You'll still have your steel connecting everything, but you don't want that shear in there. It brings water in, and it also
shear meaning like a gap, or like a place where the concrete is not solid? It's like two things that independent.
Two things that aren't sticking together, that aren't coagulated together. They're hard one on another. The steel connects them, but the concrete doesn't anymore, and that compromises a few things. It allows for movement and it allows for water.
So, oh, okay. So not only does that crack, so it's essentially a seam between two dried pieces of concrete.
Yes.
So it allows water to go through, but it also allows movement across that crack.
Right.
Across that joint. And that's really a bad thing when we have concrete.
Right.
So what we're doing here is we're trying to keep the previous pour that we had from solidifying so that the next pour doesn't go right up against the solid concrete, right? We're trying to make them liquid together.
There are times where you do that and you put an expansion joint for a cold joint, you stick your steel through that, but that's an engineered type thing. This is engineered to be one block of concrete, not two.
Okay, and so if we don't have the next concrete batch, you said they're gonna add water, which we know liquefies the concrete, but it also reduces the strength of the concrete.
It does. It does that a little bit.
Okay.
They don't want to do that unless they have to.
Okay. Why is the concrete taking so long? So obviously, we're normally expecting to get a answer on when we call the concrete company in 4 minutes, right?
Right.
And this was 25 minutes.
Right.
So we know from previous videos with Eric Garfinkel, who's the CEO of Palo Alto Concrete, that we only have 90 minutes of working time in that concrete before it solidifies, and it's really not the same concrete.
Right.
So if we don't get that concrete, that joint, like, we have some problems structurally that the structural engineer is going to have to be involved in. But what are the delays that we're seeing? Is it just totally stuff out of our control, or is it stuff that we can actually plan for?
So there's a system of how they do this so that they can get that cleanup load here on time. That broke down today. I don't know how that broke down, probably at the source of the concrete, the batch plant. You also have traffic in this area that could be holding up the truck. Other issues could be the truck has broken down. There's a lot of reasons why this could happen. Usually they have redundants in effect that will overcome that, but at this point it seems like the truck's on its way, it just is slowed.
So a little bit of chaos in construction, and chaos that really can't be controlled but has to be adapted to, which is really important to have guys like this that really know what they're doing and are professionals and do this every day, because unfortunately concrete trucks being late is a common occurrence when pouring concrete. If you're interested in learning more about building science or the Cereza Passive House, click subscribe as we show you how to build a better way.